Okay, so it's back up. As soon as the advertisements end, then we'll be good to go. Longest Taco Bell commercial ever on Twitch. Anyway, so back going with it. So now I'm going to be at that point where I've got to decide what I want to do up around the green. I know I'm going to do a cart path, and my thoughts are is that's going to be leading from the clubhouse area, split these two, come up to this side where I can do like a little bit of planting around it, kind of jazz it up a little bit, but then carry it back down. I'm going to run it down the right-hand side, right through here. So the question is going to be if I'm going to end it here and then loop it back around, because I think what I want to do right here. No, let's see what brush I want to use. This one right here. I think what I want to do. that. I like it, but then again, I don't. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you like killing off this side right here, or should I leave it flat and just let it run off? I'm kind of torn on that. No. So what if I, instead of doing that, I mean, that definitely right there looks more natural. But there's something about this look right here that I'm kind of digging. I may just have to pull it further back and because what I could do right here is just bring my cart path up to this point and then let it curve back around to feed the next green that way. I don't know. What do you think right there, Obi? Just something like that just to mount it in. Yeah, that'll work. One second. Work email really quick. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There are some people in the forums that just never cease to blow my mind. Crap. Oh, I just kind of didn't carry on my thought. There's just some people that they get started on the forums, man, and they just keep digging on things and digging on things, and it begins to annoy the hell out of me. Um, to be precise, there's an off-topic discussion going where Joe Golfer dude or whatever his name is just opened up a thread this morning, said talking about American policemen and brutality, and his opening comment left a little bit to be desired. And I just made a quick reply being like, this really has no purpose here. It really doesn't. And I'm not going to get in the thread and everything else. But there's just some shit, honestly, leave it alone. I realize that it's a community and we have this going, and it's cool to be able to talk about things that don't have to do with golf. But if you want to try to make a statement about police brutality or anything else, especially when you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, there's thousands of other forums on the internet you can go talk about it. So when you start reading things he says, it was obvious that all he was trying to do was create crap. There was no doubt at all that that was a troll job. No doubt whatsoever about it. And for me personally, that stuff just needs to go. We've got enough people, that can't even have conversations about golf without losing their shit on somebody else. So doing it, doing it on or talking about race and police brutality and this and that, it just doesn't have a place there, man. I'm not a person that's like big into quote censorship or whatever people want to deem it as, but come on, use some common sense. If it's something you genuinely care about, there's other places to talk about it other than there. But off my soapbox. So I guess, crap. See, this is bugging me, even though I know I'm not ready to do that yet as far as sculpting on that bunker. The fact that I haven't sculpted it before I'm doing other things is bugging the crap out of me. But until I get other holes done, I'm going to have to. So I'm at the point now that I will actually sculpt my green. And what I will usually try to do is get a look at my green and try to use the natural landscape on it and just enhance what's there. So I actually designed this having a flow coming from this side to this side and back to front. So we're going to try to want to keep that going. However, I do want to, this is going to be a mistake right here. Let's see, I'm going to raise that about 9 inches. I'm going to start it about right here. And let it flow across there. I will come back in and edit that out, but I want to give a little bit of movement to it right there. And then I'm going to do something similar back here on this back side. This is probably going to be an area where we're looking to Okay. So what I've done in essence is creating different areas where I can multi-pin. One being looking area back here, which is going to be tight just because of the narrowness of it. But I can look back there. Can look over here in this corner. Can look almost dead center on it, and then of course I can look here for the front. Um, Usually I don't even look at the front edge of my green depending on the distance. With this only being a shot coming in of around 130 yards from where the pin is right now, so this is going to be closer to like 125. I don't mind using a front pin location on that, so it would be an area. Now, if this hole had an approach shot of about 160, 170 yards, I wouldn't even be looking at this area right here as a multi-pin. Maybe back in here, but I would set up something here on the front to affect a shot coming in, but I wouldn't want to place a pin here in this area on that length of shot. But like I said, at about 125 yards, there's such precision on that shot with little movement, then I can safely pin in here if I want to. And I actually do that quite a bit whenever on short shots, whenever I have firmer greens, because I can affect the way the ball is going to move a lot more. On this one, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So that's going to give me my general shape of what I'm doing. Wait, I think I'm going to about another 3 or 4 inches right there. Myself just a little bit more movement. I mean, down inside there with an idea that we'd have a pin kind of back here in this area, so it's going to make it move a lot more right to left coming off there. As well as if, depending on wind or anything else, if somebody can get it all the way up there, then bad news. And this is always just so much fun. Okay. Oh, this has to be that one right there. Caused by that. This is oftentimes just a little painstaking thing that you have to go through, but this is just simply cleaning it up. Yeah, we had Midnight Sun on CC Tour last season. So the thing about what I'm doing right here is actually a little bit misleading for the simple fact that I'm working out to where I have no yellow beads in the majority of my green right here. I will back down around that hill that I have at the front of the green, but um, if I go in to play this, a lot of those lines are still going to show up yellow depending on where my ball is. So it's something that when you go to pin this, you still have to be aware of what's going on. But all I'm doing right now is trying to create movement in my greens. Yes, I know some people don't like my greens because they can be horribly freaking nasty, but you know, it is what it is, right? Question here is, how do I want to? Yeah, it can be done, Griffin, but it's, I don't know. It's hard, man, because I've been approached, from people saying, well, can you create this and make it hard enough for whatever? But what you think is hard is only hard until people start playing it. And then when you start seeing, minus 15s, and I mean, Kakalaki is a good example. I did a lot of beta testing on Kakalaki. I was using web players to play it, and the average scores were like 4 to 5 under all the way through it. Um, Boom Boom gets on it for 15 under first round. Now, granted, he played it no win, but he just completely tore the course up. Before I multi-pinned it, average scores with about a 5 to 6 mile an hour wind were anywhere from 6 to 8 under, which was, acceptable to me. But um, I don't know that creating hard courses, it's hard to tell sometimes. Now, I will say this: um, the one person that I think has a very good grasp on creating crap that's like really hard. I can't say it's always the most enjoyable to play, but Adam Hill. Um, and he can do it in a multitude of different ways. I always think about Valentine Park when I think about that. It's a course I actually really like, but the firm and fast on that with the front to back slopes on the greens was just like, oh my God. I think I've played that course 12 times. My best score on it's 1 under. Yep, Adam's pretty good at creating some devastatingly hard stuff, man. For us mortals, anyway. People like you and Ian, you're just on your own planet, dude. So because of that, I've actually taken a stance of I no longer try to design for difficulty, I guess is the best way to say it. I design towards what fits my eye and for how it plays, how I think I want it to play anyway. That's anytime I get somebody that's a newer designer and they're asking like, I'm going to use Mitch as a good example for this. We like it rough NC. There's a time he's getting pretty frustrated with things, and especially through the web.com contest because, we were actually trying to design to a difficulty standard. And there were just some things that were very forced. And I told him, quit trying to design to an audience. There's one thing that we all know about this. There's going to be some people that like your course, and there's going to be some people that don't like your course. You can build what's considered to be the best course in the history of TGC tours, and there's still going to be one person that doesn't like your course. So don't try to make everybody happy. Get a concept, get a vision, and stick with it. If you end up creating what you want to create and it plays the way you want it to play, then count it as a success, regardless of what anybody else thinks about it. It's always good to get feedback from people like Patrick Yates and Taste and Reeb Doog and Canuck. I mean, they're all very good about talking to designers. And giving input and everything else. Some of it you can agree with, some of it you don't. That's something else that people have to keep in mind. That when you start asking other designers for feedback, is that a lot of the feedback they're going to give is going to be according to their aesthetic. You know, Patrick Yates and I talk quite a bit because we both tend to design on firm, fast conditions and all that. But we have two very different looks on how we do courses. He has his way of doing it. I tend to stick to things that are either tropical because I play a lot of golf in the Caribbean and like Grand Cayman, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, blah, blah, blah. Or things down here in the southeast because I play golf all over Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina. Those are things that fit my palate. So, when somebody asks me, hey, critique this, I can go through and point out, okay, you don't have flat tee boxes. This is wrong. You need to look at this. You need to clean up the edges of your fairways and all that. That's one thing. When you start talking about the looks of a course, I can only come from a viewpoint of what fits my eye. And not everything fits my eye. I don't always have the same vision as what a designer does. So, the point of it is take it with a grain of salt. There's certain things like sculpting, contouring, things like that. They're going to be very helpful to most people. But there's going to be other things as far as planting and all that and how a course actually looks. They'll be like, oh, I would have done this differently. Well, yeah, they might have. Doesn't mean I would. So don't take it as somebody trashing your courses when they, make recommendations or say they would do things different. I see that quite a bit on the forums. Some people asking with help. It's like they want feedback, but they get defensive as hell the moment you start giving them any. So I will tend to never give feedback in an open thread. I'll usually take it to PM if they ask me about it, and then whenever I start giving it, I'll preface it in saying, "Are you sure you want this?" Because it's going to be complete brutal honesty with what I'm seeing kind of deal. And if they say yes, go ahead, then no crying. I mean, I try not to be a dick about it, but whoo. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. You come through and you start looking at, how the lines, even though you could see I worked all that out, depending on where the ball is in relation to the green, then you get other slopes. Not that I'm going to leave the ball there. I'm really just doing a test on it right now to get an idea of where the ball plays. Well, that would be a fun pin location. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Wow, look at that. uh, that's crazy. Okay, so we got 127 plus 4, so 132 should hold true right here. So we can play this to a few different areas here. See, I would almost put the pin over here where it probably should go, but then that's too close to the edge. That's only about a 4-yard pitch right there. Not that it's going to matter. It's not that hard of a hole anyway. I overhit it intentionally. Tell you what. We'll play it with a 9-iron really quick just to see what happens. That's going to be short, but oh, I bet I get some crying on that one. That seems like a pretty good pin location to me. It's not on the side of the hill. Okay, well, let's see where we're at now. I'm actually at the point of outlining this. We have a big waste bunker area over here on this side too. It's going to be partially hidden by some foliage. So I don't know, Griffin, what do you think? Decent start to our first hole. Oh, man, that's just annoying as hell. What's funny is the smaller you go on that brush, the worse it is. Oh well, it's just gonna kind of have to stay because you don't even see it unless you really go up high and back out. So I'm tired of messing with it. Damn it. Of course. Hey, what do you say, Royce?